Hi everybody, my name is Michael Yu. I'm a second-year dental student at Western University in Pomona, California, and I'm realizing it's been a little while since I've done one of these videos on tips about dental school. With that said, I'm also realizing that interview season is fast underway, and some of you may be preparing for your first interview, and I want to share some tips I've come up with through my years of job interviewing and also interviewing at dental schools. I hope you find these interview tips as helpful as I did, but if you don't, please comment below and share with us some tips that you may have. So with that said, I'm going to start off with tip number one. Tip number one is your interview starts the moment you arrive on campus. This means that you should be very careful about what you talk about to others, as well as how you present yourself. So with that first part, one of my classmates, he was telling me that he spoke to a faculty about girls at one point. So what that means is he arrived on campus, didn't know that a faculty was an actual faculty, and thought that he was actually interviewing at the school. And he was talking to him about cafes, which cafes to go to in order to meet girls. You don't want to do that, especially because so many faculty members look so young these days, but this kind of ties into being sure of what you're talking about and watching what topics you're talking about as well. This also kind of ties into tip number two I have, which is dress to impress. I know here at Western U, on Fridays, we do tours of the dental clinic, and this time seems very informal, but at the same time, you are going to be meeting with faculty members. So with that said, it is very crucial that you dress appropriately in either a button-down shirt or even a bow tie was what I did, and your attire isn't hindering you from an actual great interview. So that's tip number one and two. Tip number three, don't remember your answers. This one comes straight from both my roommates, who I asked earlier what type of interview tips they would have for pre-dental students, and I definitely made this mistake while I was interviewing last year. I found all the general questions online for dental school interviews and memorized a prompt that I wrote up for every single one of those questions. While this seems ideal, the problem with this is that when you end up memorizing these prompts, you enter that interview feeling very confident, but once the anxiety hits, you end up forgetting your whole prompt, and that adds an extra layer of discomfort and stress to that already tough environment. Not only that, when you do memorize a prompt and you rehearse it word for word, you may sound like a robot, and you do not want to do that. You want the interview to go as smooth as possible and to make it seem almost like a conversation. I know mine ended up exactly how I just mentioned. I went in thinking that I was going to say all these things, and I forgot about everything. So in the end, don't memorize your prompts, create an outline, create bullet points for what you want to say, and that'll help your interview go a lot smoother. So this next tip number four, is remember everyone's names. This one in particular I found great success with in not only dental school interviews, but in job interviews as well. The reason why is, how do you distinguish yourself in a group setting? And the way you do that is to distinguish yourself as the friendly guy who knows, or girl, who knows everybody that you're interviewing with. Reason why this helps is because dental schools are looking to see that you are a person that can get along with other classmates, and not only that, a person that will get along with the faculty there at the school. And if you come in knowing everyone's names, saying like, oh, hey, I spoke with Dr. Smith earlier, and I found that your dental school has this and this program that I really want to be a part of. Can you tell me more about that? That sounds way different from, hey, I heard about this program. Can you tell me more about it? Not only that, if you're in a group interview setting, or even in a one-on-one interview, if you sit down and say, you know, I was speaking to some of my friends I made out there, especially Steve and Sandra, and we got to talking about great aspects of dentistry. It'll make you a lot friendlier and well-rounded for this class that they're trying to put together. So remember everyone's names, and you may find that that helps you in the dental school interview. And this final tip I have for you is another one that I found a lot of success with in job interviews as well. What you never want to do in any sort of interview situation is come up empty-handed. What that means is you don't want to arrive at any interview ill-prepared for that actual setting. What I did for every single one of my interviews was always print out the school's mission statement, as well as my personal statement and application, as well as my resume, and put it in a small folder for me to carry around that day. Reason why I did this is because once I opened that folder in the dental school interview, whether it was a closed file interview or an open file interview, it made me look prepared for the actual setting. When interviewers see that you were actually preparing yourself days prior or even the day prior to coming into the actual day, they'll look kindly on that and that you actually are serious about wanting to get into their school. So prepare yourself so that you look prepared for the actual interview itself. So with that said, those are all the interview tips that I have for you today. I know it's a very short video, but I didn't want to go too much into the generic, just be yourself, everything will be okay, it'll be fine type of video. And in essence, I do believe that all pre-dental students have what it takes to do well in their interviews. You gotta remember that you have been selected from 1,000 people in order to interview at this specific school. And what that means is that they already looked over your application, they liked what they saw, and they're just making sure that you are someone that they would love to teach through the next 4 years. Always remember that it's not a matter of how you get in, but a matter of when you get in, and realize that you're this individual with a vast amount of experience that you can talk about at your actual interview. If you approach every single interview with confidence in those experiences, I'm sure you'll do well in that dental school interview. As always, if you have any questions, please email me at smilesforyou@gmail.com. And until the next time, I hope you find a lot of success during this interview season, and thank you for watching this video. Hey everybody, please share that video with another pre-dental student if you liked it, and here's a video of Luna being viciously attacked by Brody.